Okay, so I really want to talk about conflict and division. But before I can do that, there's a really crucial topic. How exactly are we expected to achieve a whole bunch of the shit that I've been talking about? How can we make and distribute everything for free? How can we feed the whole population of the world for free? What about overpopulation? Blah, 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 blah. So a whole bunch of people who are way smarter than me and have a lot more resources than I do have already come up with viable solutions to literally all of that stuff. This is mainly going to be an exercise for my own mental health and also to make sure that I can be better at talking about these things. Okay, let's get down into the nitty gritty of it. Global crop yields can already feed over 10 billion people. The real sad fact of the matter is most of those crops do not go to feeding people. They go to feeding livestock. That is incredibly wasteful and harmful to the environment. So the current system of factory farming is incredibly dangerous, nightmarishly cruel, and ridiculously hazardous to the general health of the whole planet. The system grew to keep the price of meat and other animal products as low as possible. And not only is the process terrible for the environment, but all the techniques that had to be developed to keep the cost low literally poisons the final product, which we eat and feed to our children. So cutting back on the scale of that awful system and focusing more on raising healthy, nutritious crops that will actually feed human beings could easily boost the amount of people that we can feed to 12 billion or more. And I can already hear the cynical roar from the Bacon Coalition, but I love meat! Yes, I do too. I get it. Meat is delicious. The fact of the matter is we eat way too much of it. And no, I'm not saying that everyone needs to be vegan, okay? Personal freedom is obviously all about the ability to choose what you want to eat. However, real freedom requires responsibility. You can't have one without the other. And I'll go more into responsibility later, but the fact of the matter is if we cut back on the production and consumption of meat and dairy and eggs, not only would it be healthier for every human being, obviously healthier for every animal on the planet, it would give us more land to use, more nutritious food, and a ton less pollution. I know that this is all very brief, but there's a lot to go over. So the fact is, we could feed absolutely everybody for free. We could do it right now if we wanted to, but apparently we really like watching 1 billion people starve every year. So you do you. People do not starve to death for lack of food and water. That is a lie. People starve to death because they do not have enough money or access. That's the truth. And everyone who thinks that overpopulation is a real risk, would you just quit it already? All of the data shows otherwise, okay? The population is expected to peak in around 25 years. And after that point, it's going to decrease steadily by around 1 billion people every 20 years or so. The global birth rate is steadily dropping and is expected to continue in that trend. And the real simple fact of the matter is the Earth has a limited carrying capacity that cannot be exceeded. So just please stop arguing overpopulation. It's a total lie. Okay, part 2. Everything should be free. For this one, you kind of got to step outside of our current society. Okay? I hate the term futurism for the same reason I hate the term the system. It just seems to invalidate everything because then people just think that I want everything to be like Star Trek. Full disclosure, I want everything to be like Star Trek. But that's not the point. Futurism tries to see what we can do, what we're really capable of doing. So even though I really dislike the term and I dislike all the baggage that comes along with it, in this circumstance, it's really, really apt. So everything we need should be free. Everything we want should also be free. But a lot of the shit that we want now just doesn't make any sense in the scenario that I've been talking about. So like right now, someone might really want a Maserati because it looks cool and it drives fast and it's a symbol of status and wealth. And it's also like this icon of freedom. A Maserati is also potentially super dangerous and incredibly wasteful. So what if, instead of people owning a vehicle, Maserati or otherwise, and mind you, I totally recognize that vehicle ownership in this world is really a luxury? What if instead everybody could get where they wanted to go by walking or biking, because city design could be so much more efficient and make so much more sense? And what if they can't get to where they want to go by biking or walking? And what if instead they could take clean, safe, fast, efficient public transportation? And you got to realize that when everything is free, then there is no such thing as a status symbol anymore, because there is not that unnatural barrier of wealth and money. And the real symbols of status, will be whether you're awesome or whether you're an asshole. And it's a really tough topic because on the surface, it looks like it's trying to dictate what people can have. And even worse, it looks like it's trying to dictate what people should want. And that's not good. That kind of thing is not freedom. Really, all we're doing is looking at the destructive systems that have been put in place to accommodate all of these weird desires that have been unnaturally created by this old system. So like a coworker of mine really loves cars. He likes expensive cars, fast cars, sexy cars. And I was having a discussion with him at work one day, and I asked what his opinion was on the whole self-driving car phenomenon, totally expecting that he would, hate it. He'd come out against it. I mean, he drives exclusively manual transmission cars. He loves driving, the act of driving, that much. And his response really surprised me. He said he would like to see every car out on the road be self-driving because accidents happen due to human error. And he said, if you want to drive real fast, we should have racetracks for that and keep the roads safe. And that made so much sense to me. So that was kind of a tangent, but it really helped me get my head around this whole thing. When we can better design objects and tools and goods of every kind to last forever and to be fixable and serviceable instead of disposable. And when we can stop hoarding all of those things and start distributing them freely to everyone who might want to use them at any given time, not only will everything function way better than it does now, specifically because the cost of production will no longer be a limiting factor, all the things that we use will also improve and be improved upon so much faster, because it will be the task of anyone who wants to iterate and improve the design for everybody. All right, let's talk energy. Here we go. The barrier to fusion energy is cost. That's it. We could have clean, safe fusion reactors within our lifetime, but right now the cost of development is prohibitive. I know that is like some futurist shit, like fusion reactors. But here's the other thing, we don't even need fusion reactors. Natural energy sources are super abundant. We haven't developed a really perfectly efficient solar panel yet, again, because it's too expensive. Fossil fuels are a big business. And obviously their interests are heavily protected by lobbyists in every government across the whole world. Wind, solar, and hydroelectric power are absolutely viable sources of energy for the whole world. Money is the only barrier. That is the absolute truth. So, free food, goods, and energy are all totally within our grasp right now. The means by which to automate their production is in our grasp right now. We could all put our energy behind creating that world. It would take a lot of cooperation, and it would take a lot of time, and it would specifically take the destruction of a lot of old, antiquated systems, but we could totally do it. The barrier is division, distraction, and dangerous motherfuckers in positions of power. Once enough people see those barriers for what they are and recognize that they are surmountable, that will be the beginning.